It's Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto with my ears still ringing from Bandit Land. Thank you very much, Buffalo. And with me, of course, I have Muffler Mike Kostiuk over in Connecticut. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, Gary.
Sorry, Mike? What's he got? Sorry.
It's tinnitus. That's what you got.
That's what I got. All right, yeah. I got my ears ringing is what I got. I got 17,000 people going absolutely nuts, and with good reason. The Buffalo Bandits are your NLL champions. We will get into a whole lot of that in a little later on in the show. We've got a lot to cover, as you all know. We have OJLL, we have OSL, we have MSL, WLA, any other letters you can think of, as well as NLL and PLL. But before we do any of that, let's get on to just some network things. Just remember that all of our shows are streamed across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can catch all the action on EOPsports.com. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons, and always share with your friends. Enjoy our affiliates as well, the Broad Street Bully Podcast, Philly Press Box Radio, Edge of Philly Sports Live, Birds IQ, Patterson Ave Fanatics, Talking Philly Sports with Matty B, Devereaux Sports, The Painted Lines, and Party on Broad. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the podcasts on all the major podcasting companies like Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and so much more. You can also catch it on the EOP Sports YouTube page, or if you're looking for our show in particular, you can catch it on the All Across All the Time YouTube page. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting EOPsports.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also, while you're there, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you're looking for a place to have a good time and have a good drink, Dolan's is your place to go. 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Music, great times, memorabilia, giveaway, all kinds of things. Have a look at them at dolansbar.com. But better yet, get your butt over to 24 East Sellers Avenue. Have a beer with the boys. Tell them EOP sent you. They'll hook you up. Don't worry. Sherry'sTicketTown.com. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need more of a personal touch, give them a call, 610-494-5050, or visit their office at 1382 Nauman's Creek Road, Suite 1, Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest, save with the best. Sherry'sTickets.com, save 10% using the promo code EOP10. Philly Sports Trips and PhillySportsTrips.com is where you want to go. They are in the works of doing a whole lot of stuff for the NFL and Philly Eagles trips. Have a look right now because there's some Philadelphia Phillies and Philadelphia Union things down the pipe. You're not going to find better prices. Go check them out. You won't be disappointed. If you have some legal issues, David R. Cherry and his firm, the Cherry Firm, would be happy to help you out. Workers' comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, cherryinjurylaw.com, or give them a call, 610-565-0300. Tell them the EOP boys sent you, and they will hook you up. Hi, Mike. It has been a busy couple of days. I have been traveling around doing MSL. I was in Buffalo, of course, for all the festivities yesterday, pre, during, and post. And let me tell you, the trophy has been taken, getting a beating. It's been everywhere. So, oh, yeah. I thought I could too, and I was there. And, man, it's just, wow. But just to wet your whistle on it, let's just go through the last couple of seconds before we jump into some of the other things, and then we'll come back and talk about the whole game. But just so you get a gander what it was like inside that arena, here's 17,000 people just about ready to explode. if it wasn't already going nuts enough in there. Get Byrne going crazy with them, and it brought us to a whole new level of crescendo. Yeah. So yeah, Banditland was rocking into the early hours of the morning. It was a sight, man. It was a sight. So much different than last year, where you could have hit a pin drop in that building. But we'll get into that a little bit more. Like I say, we have a lot to cover. A few things that I'd like to get into, just about checking things out. Remember, the Rob McDougall Classic is coming up. That'll be July 8th at the Toronto Rock Athletics Center. It's the celebrity lacrosse game, but there's a whole lot more. You got the paperweight tournament in the morning, the OJLL McDougall Cup, which is the Burlington Blaze against the Oakville Buzz. You have the Under 11 Battle of Burlock, and of course the celebrity lacrosse game. And just to remind you, some of the faces that you might see at the game, that's John Tavares, captain of the Maple Leafs, nephew of the winning coach. And Brian Shanahan, Don Cherry were all there. Sean Ferris, assistant coach from the Georgia Swarm, will be playing in that as well. I believe it was 2 weeks later, you have the Fan Cup, where yours truly will be playing in that one as well, where, of course, our motto in that is win or lose, we drink the booze. So you'll understand the kind of lacrosse you'll be seeing over there. But there are a ton of things that will be up on the website to bid on. Jerseys, gloves, portraits, all kinds of things. So framed jerseys, just an incredible amount of things. I think one of them is even a San Diego 4-pack for any game next year. Pretty amazing. There is a lot of really great stuff. A little bit of news. Of course, Six Nations keeps moving towards their push for Man Cup. So they keep signing guys for their all-star team. Brad Cree has been acquired from the Oakville Rock, since they're sitting dormant this year in the MSL, and he is on Six Nations as well. Just down the pipe the other day, Ben McIntosh, a deal was made to acquire him from the Coquitlam Adirondacks, and he played tonight and had a pretty good game, and I'll get into that soon. OJLL. The juniors have had a busy week as well. Just to run down the scores, Orangeville beat Peterborough 10-2. Whitby beat Kitchener 16-7. Burlington beat St. Catharines 13-6. Orangeville, again on the 31st, beat the Northmen. They beat the Oakville Buzz 12-5 in the Battle of Undefeated, which is only Orangeville now. St. Catharines beat Brampton on June 2nd, 9-8. Oakville again came back and beat Kitchener 15-6. The Northmen stay undefeated. They are beat Peterborough 15-6. Six Nations beat Burlington 12-7. Yesterday it was Mimico beating Whitby 15-8. The Beaches stomping on Oakville 16-4, and St. Catharines beating Kitchener 11-10. There's a couple of games down the pipe today, which is Mimico against Burlington, Peterborough against Six Nations, St. Catharines against Orangeville. Looking at the standings to this point, you have Oakville at 6-2 with 12 points. Orangeville is the only undefeated team at 5-0, but they only have 10 points, right? Burlington is tied with them at sitting at 5-1, though. St. Catharines also at 5-2. Toronto Beaches 3-3. Mimico 3-3. Whitby 2-4. Six Nations 2-2. Brampton is 1-4. Peterborough is 0-5, and Kitchener Waterloo is 0-6. Just a little bit of a look for the Ontario Series Lacrosse. They only had a couple of games going on this week. We start with the 29th with Oakville beating the Brooklyn Merchants 11-9. On June 2nd, Oakville played the Ennismore James Gang, and this wasn't near as close. Oakville, as worried that this is going to happen with stacked teams, beat up on them 27-2. Oof. That one was close, just about till the national anthem, and they were already down 3-0. Brooklyn just got by Clearview 12-11. Yesterday, Six Nations beat up on Ennismore again. It was 13-3. Owen Sound, North Stars beat Clearview 12-4. There is one game tonight, and that is Six Nations going against Owen Sound, and we do not have a score in as of yet. The standings so far has Six Nations at 4-1, tied with Owen Sound. It is at 4-1. Brooklyn's had a few more games. They are 4-1-1 for both of those teams. Brooklyn is 4-3. Oakville is sitting at 2-1. Clearview at 1-5, and the Ennismore James Gang at 1-5 as well. Okay. Mike, why don't we do a little bit of WLA? We'll stop listening to me for a bit.
Sure. Give you a break. So we went off the air last Sunday to what we thought was a bit of surprising news.
Apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, apparently not to some folks, but Maple Ridge was playing Victoria last Sunday evening, and they beat the Shamrocks 7-4. And right now they're 2-0 on the season. So already already one win over their win total from last year. So starting off on the right foot, and
let's hope they can keep going by.
Yeah,
and of course we have an in with the offensive coach. Ryan McMichael is one of us, and he is there giving him all that he's got. And good on you, Ryan. Good on you. I'm hoping you're going 18-0, and you can really rub it into us. By all means, be
absolutely.
Good evening, Eduardo. He is in Jacksonville now. Our world traveler. But yeah, man, to me it's still a surprise, even though they're in a bit of a rebuild. Victoria, it's still Victoria, man. And whenever you hold Victoria to only 4 goals, that is a
pretty impressive. I think the one of the telling statistics specifically from that game was they had only one even strength goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe 2 were on a power play and 1 was shorthanded. So special teams really stepping up for Maple Ridge. So
Reese Blake had a great game, 2 goals and an assist. He's going to be that one guy we're going to have to keep our eye on throughout the summer, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So moving into the middle of this past week, we had Langley downing New Westminster 9-7.
I can do it. I can do it, Mike. I can do it. What's
wrong? No. Not yet.
Okay.
It's not time for that yet.
All right.
Give it a couple more weeks.
All right.
So we may need to change the team too.
That's true. I might be doing that for Victoria. But I'll be wearing a Victoria. We wearing a Victoria jersey while I'm doing it, so there'll probably be tears streaming down my face whilst I'm doing it. But it is what it is.
But the usual suspects showing up for Langley: Curtis Dixon 3-2, Dane Doby 4 assists, Robert Church 3 assists, Frank Chiliano 50 saves. Tristan Kirkham had a big game; he had a hat trick. For New West, you had Mitch Jones 2 and 3. Ryan Martell again. I mean, Ryan Martell is just ever since last summer he's just been on fire.
Mm-hmm.
2 and 1. Will Malcolm had 3 assists. Cam McLeod, his teammate in Panther City, 41 saves. New Westminster had a quick turnaround from that loss. They played Coquitlam the next night on Thursday. Came out with a 15-6 victory.
All right, I'll take it back.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take
performance. Jones had 3 and 4. Kevin Crowley, hat trick and 3 assists. Hayden Dixon 4 and 1. They peppered Coquitlam goalie Andrew Gallant. 69 shots, I believe. Yeah. Gallant had 54 saves in the loss. Reed Rideholt, a goal and an assist. Chase McIntyre, 1 and 3. Moving on to Friday. I covered this one. Victoria turned around after their their performance against Maple Ridge and beat Burnaby by 10, 17-7. Big games from Thomas Vason, 6-2. Marshall King had 5-4. Cole Pickup again, steady, 3-2. Not much to speak of for Burnaby. Really, their bright spot is Jacob Dunbar. He had another hat trick, following up his sock trick from last week in a losing effort. Mark Yingling, a pair of goals. But
another peppering, though, man. 63 shots the Shamrocks had on the Lakers.
Yeah, that's brutal. And I mean, obviously, if Maple Ridge keeps going the way they're going, Burnaby's probably looking like they're going to be the bottom of the league.
Yeah, well, they're working their way towards it, aren't they?
Yeah, so 0-3, I believe they are right now. So
we move on to Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. So
Langley
Langley went out to Victoria Island to take on Nanaimo. Doubled them up 10-5. Frank Chiliano again, huge in net, 33 saves on 38 shots. Robert Church, 3-1. Curtis Dixon, 2-1. I'm sorry, 1-3. Doby had 2-1. So again, the usual suspects showing up for Langley. So Zach Mans, 3 goals for Nanaimo. Taggart Clark, pair of assists. Conrad Chapman, 1-1. And Justin Getty, 33 saves. And, definitely doing a serviceable job in place of Devlin Shanahan. But
right.
If Shanahan is, comes back, we could see a little resurgence from Nanaimo.
Well, hold on tight here, Mike. The Burrards are up 2-0 right now in the first.
All right.
The juggernaut keeps going.
There you go. So
may have to go find lodging in Maple Ridge for the Man Cup.
Yeah, so they are taking on Nanaimo at Cam Neely Arena in Maple Ridge. So we'll get everyone an update, all our wonderful viewers, before we sign off, I guess.
Absolutely. All right, we go into MSL, and we start off at Wednesday with Six Nations going into Brooklyn. Now, if you remember correctly, Brooklyn took a thumping to the Kodiaks, Coburg's team, last Sunday, and nobody really gave them much of a hope. But guess what? They pulled it out in overtime, 11-10, beating the Six Nations All-Star Team Chiefs, which had got Brad Crean for that particular game. It started out with 4-0 for Brooklyn, and everybody was wondering what's going on. Liam Osborne had a fantastic game. He had the first 2 goals. Zach Kerrigan also. Jack Travasos, and it was 4-0. Shane Jackson, Austin Stotts finished off that first period and was 4-2. Sure enough, Shane Jackson and Brian Cole, and it's 4-4 in the second. But then another 4-goal run from Brooklyn. Zach Garrigan, Devin Pfeiffer, Trent Boyd, and Luke Pilcher, and it was 8-4. And people again are going, maybe this resurgence tonight, and the upset alert was starting to go. Austin Stotts and Charles Tommy Scanlon score, and it is 8-6 going into the third period. Brian Cole opens up the third period with a shorthanded goal, and it's 8-7. Now, Nolan Ruddy comes in, 9-7. Cody Jamieson scores shorthanded, and it's 9-8. Liam Osborne gets a power play goal. That was his third of the night, and it was 10-8. It still looked pretty good with only a few minutes left. With 4 minutes and 7 seconds left, Brian Cole scored shorthanded to bring it within 1. And with just 27 seconds left, a name we hadn't heard most of the night, Lyle Thompson, put it in to send it to overtime. This lasted longer in overtime than I thought it was going to. 7 minutes for it. So 2 minutes and 12 seconds in, Zach Kerrigan scores, and Brooklyn goes away with the 11-10 victory. a 1-goal thing shouldn't seem like much. However, a team that is as stacked as Six Nations against a rebuilding team like Brooklyn, that had me scratching my head a little bit. But as the old saying goes, any given night, anything can happen, right? It's kind of why we play the games.
True, yeah, I think
And,
so. I mean, I think we're going to see some of those games with Coburg too this year.
Well, it leads me to the Brampton Peterborough game, and you have a team that's ready to go for a 5-peat Man Cup, right? And they make no bones about it that that's what they're going again. And Brampton is a very young team, and is still looking to find an offense. Well, this we expected it to be a triple-digit victory. Peterborough came away with an 11-8 victory, and I'm telling you, if you want to talk about heart, Brampton really showed it as the game went along. Out of the first period, Adam Churchill and Thomas Hogarth made it 2-0. James Whiteford cut that lead in half, making it 2-1. Hogarth again and Matt Gilray in transition, and it was 4-1 going into the intermission. To start the second period, Rory Graham scored, and it became a 4-2 game. A couple more goals for Peterborough, make it 6-2 with Joel Taylor and Holden Gattoni. Henry Follows got in there, and away we went. Turner Evans, Sean Evans, both got goals, and Tyler Ferreira got one for Brampton. So after 2 periods, it was 8-4. Enter the third period. And yes, of course, Thomas Hogarth, Holden Gattoni both got power play goals, and it looked like this thing was done. Well, Henry Follows, Carter Zavitz, Alex Simons started making things a little bit uncomfortable. Matt Gilray got one in transition to give him a little bit of breathing room. James Whiteford scored with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, but that was it. It was too little too late. But for a team that shouldn't be doing much against the big, bad Peterborough Lakers, an 11-8 loss to me is almost as good as a win. That team shows it resilient. And once they get a couple other guys into that lineup, and they're coming, this is going to be a pretty good Brampton team to work its way into the league in its first year back. Brings us to tonight's game. Six Nations went into Coburg, and if you remember correctly, a couple of weeks ago, Coburg lost in overtime to Six Nations. And, if they didn't have a collapse near the end, they really should have come away with that victory. And like I say, they won their second game, beating on Brooklyn last week. But tonight, the Chiefs more or less had their way with them. It was 4-0 before you really could sit down. Halfway through the first period, it was 4-0 for Six Nations. Tanner Buck got one back for Coburg, but Larson Sundown scored with just a couple of minutes left in the first. So it was 5-1 at the end of the first. Another big period for Six Nations in the second. Lyle Thompson had a couple, split up by a David Anderson goal for Coburg on the power play. Brendan Bombery, he got another one for Six Nations. That became the game-winning goal. Carson Moyer, he got another one for Coburg. This was a chippy game, guys. This had a lot of parade to the penalty box. A few guys thrown out for scrapping. So they don't like each other much. And they will be playing each other a few more times. So put on your safety belts.
You're
and
ready. Buckle up.
It's going to be a rough ride. The third period had Coburg coming back. Carson Moyer scored shorthanded. Rowan Kelly scored shorthanded. Scott Dominey in transition, and all of a sudden we had a game. Lyle Thompson got a power play goal. Curtis Conley got one back for the Kodiaks, but Tyson Bell put one in that was in transition from Brad Cree and Warren Hill, I believe it to the empty net, and that was all she wrote. So Six Nations comes away with a 10-7 victory, and all is right with the world again, right? If we look at the standings, Six Nations is sitting there at 3-1, while Peterborough is at 1 win, no losses. Coburg sitting at 1-2, Brooklyn at 1-1, Brampton at 0-2. But watch, that should change soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Which,
expect there's.
it's inevitable. That team is it's undermanned right now, and they're going to get their players. So um, Dan Teets celebrating last night since he is a scout with the Buffalo Bandits. He's also the GM of the Brampton squad, and he had mentioned there's you watch. They're going to start getting their offense geared up, and they should be an exciting team to watch. And looking forward to catching them at Memorial this Thursday. So,
Just want to give the. We didn't really do the WLA standings, but Langley 3-1. We've got New Westminster and Victoria both at 2-1. Maple Ridge is 2-0, pending the game that's in progress now. Nanaimo 1-2, and then Coquitlam and Burnaby 0-2 and 0-3. So what's wrong with New Westminster might become what's wrong with Coquitlam soon.
Well, we'll see. We'll play that one as we get it. I just want to give a quick shout out to Matt Martin. He's a usual follower of our show. I had a good chat with him on Friday evening, talking about all things lacrosse, past and present, and future. And we might have him on the show for a little bit in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned for that one. Yeah, it'd be an interesting conversation, man. There's just a wealth of knowledge coming from him and his relations on the reservation.
Excellent.
Family members and things like that would be people you all would know. But we'll get into that later. That brings us over to the PLL. And their weekend schedule had the Redwoods versus Atlas, Cannons versus the Archers, Chaos versus the Water Dogs, and Whip Snakes versus Chrome. Now, the Atlas game, I expected more from Atlas. I'm sorry. That's just me. But, they dropped it 13-12 to the Redwoods. Pretty good game. Got to admit, it was a back and forth affair. TD Erlin. What more can we say about him? We watched him with the Rock. We watched him develop from more than just a Fogo into a full-time player. And he's using that to his full advantage. He started the game by winning a face-off, and boom, down he went 13 seconds into the game. He got a goal, and it was 1-0 Redwood. Brian Kostiuk, he, with a howitzer, tied that thing up. And then a name that we're going to hear a lot of in this game, Ryder Garnsey. Basically, anytime he touched it, if he threw it near the net, it went in. He had, I believe, 6 goals in this game, and the next 2 were by him. Xander Dixon got one back, but Garnsey again coming to the end of the first quarter, and it was 4-2 for the Redwoods. The second quarter had Charlie Bertrand increase that lead to 5-2 for the Redwoods, but Eric Law had a beauty goal. Jeff Teat did so much work, and he just has that ability to see everything before it happens. And just that flip over to Law while everybody is coming at a shot that they think he's taking, and in it went. Garnsey got his next goal of the game, which I believe is number 3 or 4 at that point. 6-3 for Redwoods. Brendan Curry made it a little bit closer, followed by Chris Gray, and then Xander Dixon, and we were tied. Garnsey again brings the lead over to the Redwoods, and we're at the half, 7-6 for the Redwoods. Into the third, Wes Berg, a name familiar to most. He made it 8-6 for the Redwoods, followed by Garnsey again, making it 9-6. Jeff Teat was able to get one for the Atlas team, 9-7, followed by Eric Law, 9-8. Miles Jones with an absolute howitzer made it 10-8, just inside the 2-point line at that, so just a 1-point goal. Eric Law brought it to 10-9, and we were headed to the fourth. Still a nail-biter, folks. Henneberg, we hadn't heard him all game long. Well, this was a quarter that we were going to hear about from him. He scored to make it 11-9 for the Redwoods, followed by Wes Berg again off of a Henneberg pass, and it was 12-9. Wes Berg again, 13-9. Again, Rob Pennell an assist on that one. Brian Kostiuk with his second of the game brought it to 13-10. Eric Law with his second of the game brought it 13-11. Garnsey with his 6th of the day brought it to 14-11. And then you had a goal by Xander Dixon. Sorry, that goal wasn't allowed. One of these goals, I think that one was called back because Xander Dixon scored and it was 13-12. That's right. It was a review that deemed he was in the crease. So, oh well. But it was a 13-12 final for the Redwoods.
Yeah, and boy, just hearing you do the recap, to me sounds like Redwoods could be awfully dangerous because I didn't hear a whole lot of scoring from Rob Pennell or
Couple
Miles
of assists only.
Jones or Sergio Perkovic for that matter.
Yeah, nothing for Perkovic. You
So,
had one from Jones. You had a couple of assists from Pennell. Like I say,
yeah.
Garnsey was the star of this game.
Yeah, doing the heavy
Hannenberg
lifting.
was the go-to factor in the fourth, and Westberg
And
that was
Westberg, yeah. So, I mean, certainly the addition of Westberg is
huge,
got to be big for them. So that they could certainly get everyone firing on offense. And at that point, I'd ask, how are they any different than Archers or Whip Snakes or Chaos? At that point,
Very true. Well, Chaos. I'm still waiting for the Bandits to show up there, but we'll get into that game after this one. But to get into the Cannons Archers game, it looked after one that this was going to be a very low scoring game, eh, Mike?
Yeah, just the one goal from Ryan Drenner in the first quarter. Archers, of course, going against going against a couple of their former teammates, including the goalie Adam Gittleman, now with the Cannons. You also had Marcus Holman is now on the Cannons as well. But Archers do hang on for a 16-13 win after they explode the two teams for 21 goals in the second half.
A tale of two halves, yeah. It started ramping in that second, though. That second was already a busy one.
Yeah. Archers got a 5-3 lead at the half. Connor Fields kind of stepping up now that Holman and Will Manny are elsewhere. Fields had 4 goals. You had new arrival Mac O'Keefe with 3 goals. Schreiber 1 and 3. One of the big stories here is their new face-off guy as well, Mike Sisselberger. 24 of 30 at the dot in his debut. 14 ground balls and a goal and an assist. So quite the debut for him. I would expect that he could be can be a problem for some of the established face-off guys this year.
Right.
Brett Dobson coming up big with 16 saves. For Cannons, you had Holman with 4 points. He had a 2-point goal, regular goal and an assist. Ryan Drenner 3 and 1. Asher Nolting, goal and 4 assists, and we had mentioned Drenner and Nolting specifically with the Cannons in the absence of Lyle Thompson. Really want to see both of those guys step up, and they look like they're already making the most of their time, and certainly having Holman with them.
Sure. Well, Johnson Bonville on there too is no slouch.
That's true. Gittleman had 13 saves. He was spelled by Colin Kirst in the fourth quarter, but this Cannons team, when we thought it was going to kind of be a major rebuild, with Lyle Thompson kind of skipping PLL this summer, Brody Merrill announcing his retirement from field. I think they have to certainly be, not happy with the loss, but yeah, there's hope there. That's certainly not.
Yeah, 16-13 is not a big deal. Being in week 1, I expect them to do a lot better than they have been doing in recent years. Anyways, that's a good core of players. So they're going to give fits to some of these other guys.
Yeah, because offense was an issue for them last year.
Yeah,
At times it would just
it was
be
Lyle only.
non-existent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, it brings us to the Water Dogs versus Chaos, and my first thought was with half of that team still, still probably up celebrating the Bandits' victory, who'd be left to play? But they put in a really great effort. When you have the best goalie in the world in Blaze Reardon, you can steal any game, and they damn near stole this one because really. Not a whole lot of scoring at all. The Water Dogs got up 3-1 in the first quarter. Zach Courier doing what Zach Courier does. They call him the Swiss Army knife. He just gets through everything, and he did. Matt Witchert, another beauty goal. Will Perry got one back for Chaos, but Jake Caraway with another beauty with an assist from Kieran McCardle. Great to see him in full regalia after a really rough NLL season.
yeah.
So it's good to see him flying around the field. So it was 3-1 after one for the Water Dogs. Now remember, this is this is billed as the finals repeat, right?
Right.
Yeah, trying to get their revenge for losing to the Water Dogs. Now here comes the second quarter, and well, it is all chaos. Ryan Smith with an assist from Jack Jasinski, Troy Ray, and then Brad Voigt. I'm telling you, the team looked really good, and they with a 4-3 lead because, of course, the Smith goal was a 2-point goal. Going into the third quarter, we had the 2-point goal from Kelly, which gave us right now a 5-4 Water Dogs lead. And in the fourth, it looked as though, because the thing just kept going back and forth. Jasinski scored, Kyle Jackson scored, and we had 6-5. It was Sauer scoring, and then Zach Courier scoring was 7-6 for the Water Dogs. With 1:38 left, Minikas scored, and it was 7-7. Going into overtime, Connor Kelly. We hadn't heard much other than that one blast that he had earlier, but when the time came, that was the guy you wanted, and it was a gorgeous goal.
Yep.
8-7 for the Water Dogs, and they come away with the victory. But again, I wouldn't put anything in stock into this. Once Chaos gets Smith, Byrne, Fraser, Kluche, that's going to be a whole different lineup.
Yep, McKay as well.
Yeah, McKay as well. You start wondering who's not going to be playing because that's a pretty good lineup already. But, we'll see. We'll see. Water Dogs come away with an overtime victory, 8-7. Which brings us to our last game of the day, Mike. It was Chrome over the Wit Snakes, 12-11.
Yeah, Cross Ferrar making his debut, scores the game winner with 6 seconds left. Important to note for Chrome that it sounds like they will not have the services of last year's Rookie of the Year, Brendan Nickturn. Hey, Mike, thanks for tuning
Hey, Mike.
in. Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
watching, eh?
Yeah, so sounds like Nickturn will not be available for Chrome just due to his military commitments. See whether that changes or not. But Logan Wisnauskas had a goal and an assist. Justin Anderson stepping up big time with 4 goals. Jackson Morrill, a goal and 4 assists. Connor Farrell, 12 of 24 on faceoffs. And Sean Scanoni really stepping up in net, kind of continuing his picking up where he left off last year. For Whip Snakes, new addition Will Manny, stepping up, 2 goals and an assist. Matt Rambo had 3 assists. Mike Chanenchuk with 3 and 2. And Petey LaSala, 13 of 24 on faceoffs. So, but Whip Snakes does come away on the wrong side of it. So they're 0-1 right now, along with Atlas and Chaos and Cannons. And we
right.
have Archers, Redwoods, Chrome, and Water Dogs at 1-0. So still plenty
And
of time.
next week they're in Charlotte, North Carolina. This week they're in Albany. So the traveling circus goes over to Charlotte for a weekend's worth of games. First game is on. Well, we get 2 games on Friday next week.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday next week. No Sunday games next week.
And good segue. You mentioned the traveling circus. What are your thoughts on their announcement that they could settle these teams in cities as soon as next year?
Well, what I heard was it was finally explained to me because it was a little puzzling. Is that they're still going to do the traveling circus thing? It's just that they're going to be assigned a city that will be theirs, and they will do work with the city with clinics and with other things and stuff like that. However, the team that the city that they are in will play on both days, so there will be more of that get the home crowd out to the home team, and they'll be playing the other teams, but they're going to be playing twice, once on Saturday and once on Sunday, or once on Friday and once on Saturday, or whatever.
Okay.
But that's the scheme, the way it was explained to me today. So, hearing that, I'm more in favor of it because I thought about if they had specific teams, wasn't that the selling ploy to get them away from MLL? Is you didn't want to have that, you wanted to have it in different places so other people could see it. Well, they are settling into the same kind of places, but at least this way they have a chance to go to different things. And if they're doing it by the year and having teams assigned, to me it makes some sense, and it keeps their traveling roadshow going as well, which means that you get to see all your favorite players every single week if they're in your town or close to your town. So
Sure.
So for their MO and their general idea and their concept, they haven't veered from it, but they've added to it. So that's great. And when Rabel was talking about numbers, he was talking about the initial numbers, about 25 million views. With the ESPN thing, is at about 45 million now. They're hoping to get over 100 million soon. So it's growing. So,
Yep.
don't fool yourself. Fringe sport no more. It's going to become one of those that we talk about, and it's going to make its way up around the baseball, hockey, soccer, football thing. Maybe not to the extent of a football thing because we're not going to fit 80,000 people week in and week out for it, but it's going to become more of a main stage thing. And it brings me back to what Glenn Clark said, is remember that television legitimizes the sport. And with it being on, and 2 games this weekend was on ABC, not just on ESPN or TSN. They were on ABC main network.
Yep.
In the middle of Saturday, in the middle of Sunday. So that's prime time for sports on weekends. So if they've got that slot locked up to do some games there, as well as the ESPN and TSN networks and everything on the plus things as well, ESPN Plus, TSN Plus. There's lots of ways to catch all the games and be up to date and be in the know and be able to see it. So they're on the right track towards that 100 million goal. And as we saw, the NLL is also on track with just their attendance up everywhere overall, as well as you take a look at, just how the playoffs were attended, and the crowds were incredible everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think we're on the right side of it. It was interesting though. You brought up when I heard Logan Wisniewski's name. I was thinking about a preseason, and he was with the Colorado Mammoth, and he fit in really nicely, and he did a lot of really great things. And I was surprised he didn't hang on with them, whether it was by choice or whether it was being cut for other players that were already on the championship team. But I'm thinking, on a team that's offense was a little bit inconsistent. Could you imagine if they had that to go to yesterday and have another weapon when none else were working? Maybe. Mind you, Matt Vince was so hot yesterday that I think firing it out of a cannon, he still would have found a way to save it. It was just big game, big goalie. big goalie for big games. And, you can't take anything away from Dylan Ward. He faced 60 shots. So, 13 goals on 60 shots is, not a bad thing.
It sounds like a WLA game.
It does, doesn't it? Not an NLL game. But, yeah, it was, 13-4. And how valuable is Josh Byrne to that lineup? The guys on the Mammoth in the press conference talked about it. I have that clip. In fact, let's get to the clips of the press conference before I do some of the other stuff. Here's John Tavares, just a small clip of him.
Would be to win one of these as a coach?
100%. It's more stressful being a coach than as a player, and you feel a lot more responsible for the overall team performance. So it's my last one. It's my latest one, so it's my best one at the moment.
Can you guys play a better defensive game all the way around? 4 goals.
I was told 4 is the record goals against in the final, so it doesn't get much better than that against that team. They put 16 goals up against us last week, and to come back and hold them to 4 is quite the feat. Matty played well, defense played well. We didn't give him any good looks.
Josh had that big third quarter. When did you know that he was trending toward being available tonight?
After practice yesterday.
And then did you see him work his way into the game tonight?
I thought our first goal, he was a big part of it, and he got going right away. And he didn't miss a beat for somebody who was hurt. I thought he had a great game. He had a great playoff series for all the games he was in.
How much of a lift does having him in the lineup give you guys emotionally and confidence-wise?
It's a huge lift, but you got to be careful that you don't take things for granted. Oh, we got Josh, we're going to win now. No, we still got to play a really good team. We got to show up and play a full 60 minutes, which we did.
Can you compare the emotions for you? I saw you watching him hand the trophy around. You wanted him as a player now as a head coach.
Yeah, I just enjoy watching my team have fun, and I was just trying to enjoy their moment with them. And I know what it means to win as a player and get that banner raised and be up there for a long time. And I was happy for every single guy on the team. I thought throughout the entire year, everybody's worked hard and committed and bought into what the coaches have been preaching.
He made an interesting point, though. He thought that Josh Byrne got into it right from the first. He had an assist on the first goal. But when Josh was talking in part of his press conference, he mentioned that I really wasn't in it on that first one. I was throwing the ball wide all over the place in that first quarter. More or less, he got into it as the game went along. So that's interesting, the different takes from the different people. Here's Matt Vince. Of course, the question came up about retirement.
Or
I think I felt like this was going to be a question. Again, I don't know if there's a time to talk about this stuff because it doesn't involve just me in today. It's about our group, and I think I just want to focus on our group. These guys beside me, I think that's our main focus is, I think enjoying the moment because it's a big one. And I'm just, I think I'm proud to be sitting here with these two guys, hell of lacrosse players, great leaders. And, it's just, I think it's going to be an emotional day for a lot of guys. I think for us, happy to finally get one in Manland.
Dane, did the fact that you've gone through 3 finals before this and come up just short make this a little sweeter? You almost appreciate it more?
Most definitely. I feel like 2016, I was a little kid. I didn't really understand it. I was grateful that we got there, but I didn't really get it. Obviously, 2019, I felt like we had the team to do it. We fell short. Each year, we kind of got a little bit better. Obviously, last year we got our 1 win under our belt, and then this year, obviously, winning championship. The world has funny ways of kind of working, and again, I'm just so thankful. Again, I'd love to have 4 championships. Don't get me wrong, but this one means the world to me.
Was there a moment in the game today where it really hits you that you'd be parading in a few minutes with a cup?
It was. I was nervous the whole time. Honestly, I was like, even when we were up by quite a bit, I was like, it doesn't feel real. Anything can happen. Like I don't really know. It was a crazy emotional roller coaster ride. But yeah.
Steve hands you the trophy. Describe that moment.
Again,
It was heavy.
It was heavy. It really was. Or I'm weak. I'm not too sure. But honestly, you dream as a kid to play professional lacrosse. At least I did. Once I got to the professional level, my goal was to win a championship. I put so much hard work with these guys throughout this process, and it wasn't easy. Again, I've been in this league for 11 plus years, and I had nothing to show for it until this tonight. And I'm so thankful for this organization, for Banditland, for every fan that, no matter how the circumstances were, I know the Buffalo's been through so much in the past few years, and they deserve it more than ever. And I'm just so thankful for my teammates, because I wouldn't be sitting here without every one of those guys.
Great words from MVP of the playoffs. He's talking about his nerves, but yet I was watching him from the press box in the third and in the fourth, and every time he got the ball, you'd see him going to try and slow everybody down, and especially once they started getting a bigger lead, just to calm everybody down. So his nerves didn't show; his leadership showed.
Yeah.
Putting him as the MVP wasn't just about points. Points was one thing, and he had plenty of those. But the leadership that he had on that floor, and especially the 2 games that Josh was out, and he put the team on his back and won one, lost one, but still, he was the all-out leader of anything that went to do with offense. Obviously, Priolo is the leader, and he will do anything for his team, score, defense, drop them, depending, doesn't make a difference. But that team is so full of character, not characters, that it was inevitable that they finally pulled this off and won. It almost would be a crime. It's a shame even one team has to lose in this group, but it would almost be a crime if this team didn't win, and then somehow it would be torn apart and put back together in another form. So at least this one's in the books, and we'll take onward from that. Let's take a listen to Pat Coyle and Robert Hope.
Guys, take some questions for Colorado now.
Coach, it just seemed like you were the victims of a defensive masterpiece. They played awfully well and shutting down everything. One of those nights, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like that. Give them a lot of credit. I don't want to take anything from them. I thought they played a great game, and they came out like their lives depended on it, and I don't feel like we matched their energy. So disappointing in our effort, I feel like, but again, a lot of credit to them goes to them, and how stifling their D was, and how good Vino played too.
Josh Burns assist on the first goal for them, and 4 goals total. What kind of dimension did he add to that tonight?
Just balances their offense. Doesn't allow us to focus on one side or the other as much, and when you can shoot like that, it really changes things. I don't know. I feel like, again, a lot of credit to them, but because we were unable to score there, it's 4-2 at half, and if we just have a couple more opportunities drop, I think things could change. And we were chasing it, and our defense had to be perfect basically to keep us in the game, and it was just a matter of time, I think.
Robert, did you see anything different that they did coming in this year to shut things down? Did they change their approach, or just executed things better?
Yeah, I thought they made some small adjustments, like any good team's going to make. But like you talked about how they played defensively and how they played in goal, we had a lot of good looks, and Vito made some big saves there at the end. I thought, the offense capitalized on their opportunities. When we slid or rotated, they got the ball to the open look. Ward played amazing in net, and we gave up too many opportunities there probably in the second half that led to obviously more goals for them. So they made some smart adjustments. Nothing that was super crazy, but they obviously capitalized, and they played a great game overall.
2 more questions, guys.
How difficult is it to go through a season trying to defend a championship and then playing that same team the second year in a row when they had that hunger from the year before?
I guess it's difficult anytime you win a championship or try to go for a championship or try to defend a championship. But but we play the sport to win championships. So no matter how difficult it is, we have to be ready for that. They were hungry. Like Patty talked about at times, I think we were a little bit under their energy level. Different plays in the game, and those ones, kind of those small ones, add up throughout the game, and that changes kind of the balance of the game right there, especially when you're in a one game winner take all.
One more question, guys? Right, thanks. Thanks, guys.
He makes good points. Makes very good points.
Yeah, and I mean, when I made my pick 'em for Game 3, the big thing I thought really that the series was hinging on was composure, and how teams respond to the mistakes that they're making. I gave the edge to the Mammoth really just based on what I saw, out of them in Game 1, where they lost, but remained pretty even keeled, knowing what they were capable of, and nearly forcing overtime, versus kind of what we saw in Game 2 when things kind of started to unravel for Buffalo and they started taking
stupid penalties.
Some dumb penalties, a couple of unsportsmanlikes, a couple of illegal substitutions, which, you have that even happen, at that level, you have that even happen once. And doesn't matter what team you're on, what coach you got, they're not happy. You got to know when you can and can't step on the floor.
Definitely. Buffalo only took 2 penalties in the entire game last night, and that was big. It was very big. I want to get into showing a couple of these goals. The first one I want to show is it's just Chase Fraser. Just a nasty goal. He's so good at this. And how do you defend this? Like, he turned his defenseman inside out, stopped on a dime, and went the other way and found the short side. And he does that on a regular basis. To me, that's insane. That's just crazy skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the man of the hour, of course, was Josh Byrne, and here's a compilation of his goals, including that one that was a backbreaker in the first with less than 1 second to go, when Dylan Ward had already made a save, and they kind of took a breath thinking, okay, that's it for the quarter.
By Ward, Byrne scores! Lost games 1 and 2. Wouldn't know it. Byrne shoots, scores! Able to save off the boards. Byrne poised in, scores! Hat trick! Shoots, scores!
Over, under, through. His feet were never on the floor for more than a second. Do you think he would have had a career as a basketball player if he wasn't doing lacrosse? Because you could just see him ready to, unbelievable. The lightness of foot. You never know he was away from the game for 2 games, and was questionable up until Friday of whether he was going to play. Actually, Saturday of whether he was going to play. Sorry, Friday evening before whether he was going to play on Saturday. Amazing. Just amazing. And to think that most of those were Dane Smith assists as well, because Dane Smith had 2 goals, 7 assists in this game. Josh Byrne, 4 goals, 3 assists. Chase Fraser, 2 goals and an assist. So, of course, the guys that you need to come through are the guys who came through, which is why you're hoisting a cup. The other guy that needed to come through, of course, was Matt Vince. And we heard a lot of is he too old for this? He's not looking great in this series. Well, he shut everybody up, didn't he?
Mammoth up the floor quickly, setting it up. What a stop by Vince on Lee. Down against Ward. Jokum, some room, takes and shoots. Stopped by Vince, point blank. Colorado won't find it at the buzzer.
Find the back of the net.
Great wide open look denied by Vince.
A big reason is because of that man right there. Time and time again, point blank saves.
Superb. Stops by Vince. He makes a trio.
Isn't that incredible? Not one of those were easy saves. He faced 40 shots. He faced 50 shots. Sorry. He made 46 saves. And in the process, they set a record, as you heard in the press conferences, for the least amount of goals in a championship game ever. Spectacular, I think. Which is why we get to see this. I think there's a reason why we get to see that. Did they take it any further than that, do you think? Well. Yeah. By the way, all those baseball guys and hockey guys who need to wear the ski glasses, did you see anybody wearing even shades? No. But again, Bandits win. And, what can I say? They deserved. They were the better team. And throughout the playoffs, but let's go one step further talking about them. And that was that during the year they had all those injuries, right? A good chunk of their offense was gone and their transition because McKay was hurt, Nanticoke was hurt, Cloutier was hurt, Byrne was hurt through a good chunk of the season. Fraser was hurt for most of the season, and they found ways to win. In fact, they had 14 wins during the year. They found ways to win, whether it be by overtime win or a one-goal squeaker or being able to put it together for another game. But, however they did it, either way, with smoke and mirrors, whatever, once they got healthy, and ironically, it was against Toronto when they got healthy in that game that mattered at the end of the year, and they pulled it out with home field advantage. They came in after having a couple of games all together, and what happened in this playoff series, right? I believe 4 of those wins were blowouts, right?
Yep.
Rochester, 2 Toronto ones, that last Colorado one. 4 of them out of the 6 games that they played were entire blowouts, including the one that clinched it. So what does that say about that team? To me, it tells you that the right team is raising the cup. Simple. Just a non-biased view of it, saying, the Bandits deserve to win. They've been there on the doorstep forever. This group is, put a piece in there. You look at a guy like Brad McCulley. He had a goal last night, but he'll do anything too. He's setting picks continually. He's dropping gloves if he has to, getting a goal like he did last night. Very talented player. He's going to be heading on over to Victoria too to start bolstering up that team. Another one who all heart, all character. Again, what I said before, I mean. No characters, just character on that team. And when you have a guy like Tavares leading them, and Dietrich doing the defense, well, you take a look at how stifling that defense was. And to me, they flew under the radar all year. And just over the playoff series, people started to realize, myself included, just how good that defense is and just how good that defense will continue to be.
I can't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm. Eduardo's been giving us a lot of comments about the PLL. We moved on from there, but just to get caught up on that. Mm-hmm. That's 7 more than me. Well, four in one weekend anyway. Outrageously hot. Yeah. Well, we should put it in Vegas and San Diego next, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we have the Worlds in San Diego, so bring your sunscreen.
True.
So, and that's coming up June 21st for the Worlds. Teams are pretty much set. They're still doing a few little tinkers here and there. But yeah, so on my final point with the Bandits, congratulations, Buffalo. Well deserved, well done, well played. And congratulations, Colorado, on making it back to the show when it didn't even look like you were going to make the playoffs. And peaking at the right time and knocking off some pretty damn good teams along the way, I must say.
Yeah.
Knocking off the San Diego Seals, something none of us thought was going to be happening, as well as knocking off the Calgary Roughnecks in what was just an incredible Game 3.
Yeah.
So kudos to Colorado. I hope they don't do too much ripping and tearing, and try and keep that nucleus together.
Yeah, I can't see how they would. Obviously we had the same discussion about Buffalo last year, and they didn't do too much tinkering.
No, the only tinkering they had to do is because of injury, and they wound up finding a couple of diamonds in the rough. You had Dylan and Justin Robinson, you had Justin Martin, all good pieces that would be up in the press box unless needed and ready to go at the drop of a hat. And to their good sense, they were ready. So whenever Tavares needed them, they were there.
Yeah. That's the other point I was going to make. Obviously, Colorado did have to do it without Josh Sullivan and Joey Capito.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a huge piece too. The Capito one, especially to me, is just a massive piece.
Yeah, but they've definitely got some good up and comers themselves. And they do have the rights to, like you said, they do have the rights to Logan Wisnauskas and Asher Nolting. So, maybe possibly we see those guys come into the fold next year for the Mammoth.
All right, just an update on the WLA. I believe it's after 2 right now. It is 6-3 for Nanaimo over Maple Ridge. So let's see what third period will bring to that one. For those of you who want to catch it, it's on WLA TV, pay-per-view, sorry. So if you can catch it, great. Otherwise, stick with us, and we will get you the finals when we have them. But that's more or less it for this week, Mike. We've covered everybody, but stay with us throughout the week because we will be talking OJLL Junior A. We will be talking Ontario Senior Lacrosse Senior B. We'll be talking Major Series Lacrosse, which is Senior A, WLA. When Shawn comes back with us next week, he will give us some of the Western Juniors as well. Shawn is on work assignment this week, so we miss him, but he's got to do what he's got to do, and he'll be back with us next week. Remember that you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. All the press conferences from the Buffalo thing, as well as some of the other stuff from the games that I may not have put up here in their entirety with the press conference, is up on our YouTube page as well, so you can catch that at your leisure. let's get people into that YouTube page. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't know to go on to All Lacrosse all the time YouTube. There's some really cool stuff on there and more coming on there all the time. I've talked about it forever, about the retro games that I have that Bill Fox had given me, and I'm slowly starting to get them transferred. So they're slowly going to go up on a hit. And if anybody is a old mill buff who enjoys some of the Wild West of games, and if you want to compare it to what it is now, those games will be up soon. So stay with us on that one.
Excellent.
But always come back to our Facebook site and go to eopsports.com/lacrosse. The news is always changing, and as I've always said, we have our finger on the pulse of the situation. Come back 2-3 times a day because the news is always changing. Our site is up to date. We keep everything going. We have a good team of writers for recaps, news, reviews, interviews, and everything in between. Any last words, Mike?
Just congratulations again to Buffalo. Might just tell the fan base, enjoy 5 for a little bit before you start saying we want 6, please.
By the way, how was the reffing?
Oh. We did not discuss that, but very few complaints for Game 3. I have no issue with what was called or not called. Same as I really didn't have much of an issue.
Right on the money too.
I really didn't have much of an issue with Game 1 as well. So.
Yeah, no, the reviews were right on the money. If you take a look at them, the reviews were good. And I actually had a chance to talk with Todd LeBranch a little bit after the game. Great guy. He really is a nice guy. And that's just his personality, what you see out there. That's him. There was actually a who's who of NLL people, of course, for the championship. So there was a lot of conversations going on as we were ducking champagne. As it was flying everywhere in the bar, too. So, with that being said, remember, you can catch us at all these pages daily. Come back with us. We really appreciate you coming to see us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. here at All Lacrosse Live. And we will see you again next Sunday. Until then, keep your stick in your hands, guys.